What's up, friends? It's your boy GP with DeOrganized Media, bringing you another episode of DeOrganized Nightly, where we get your favorite GigaBrain astronaut scholars in the same room and have an awesome conversation and kick out dope, high frequency vibes. I hope everybody's having a lovely Tuesday. Looking at the charts, it's looking like we might be finding some bottoms hopefully soon. Not financial advice, DYOR. Pray to your God. Um, yeah, Getting into the headlines for today, I will share my screen with y'all. Pull up my bookmarks and get into the news. So, Cointelegraph just in, Bitcoin and Ethereum futures open interest dropped by 1.37 billion, signaling a partial market reset, says crypto quant analyst Alex Adler. Um, the Taproot Wizards. It's time. Today we're announcing the Taproot Wizards Mint. 2 years ago, 2,121 Taproot Wizards brought magic back to Bitcoin, and on March 25th, one of them could be yours. So that's a long time coming for that mint. Hong Kong Mingxing Group subsidiary buys 333 Bitcoin at $81,555 each, adding to its January purchase of 500 BTC at 94,375 per coin. Big accumulation going on. European regulators probe OKX's Web3 service after hackers laundered 100 million in stolen Bybit funds. Potential MiCA penalties under review. Just if you didn't know, about 2 weeks ago, Bybit was hacked for a substantial amount of ETH, and it is thought to be the Lazarus Group. So they are laundering funds through OKX. No bueno. Texas Representative Ron Reynolds has introduced a House Bill 4258. If passed, the bill would allow Texas to invest $250 million into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. I like the sound of that. Different states. We talked about this a few weeks ago. That different states and entities are going to start hodling Bitcoin and other assets. CryptoQuant reports a sharp increase in BTC transfers from miners to exchanges. Historically, miners sell more during downturns to cover operational costs, and continuous selling could slow recovery unless met with strong demand. This is cool. A solo miner using a $150 to $300 BitAxe setup earned 3.17 BTC. That is $246,500 in US dollars by successfully mining Bitcoin block 887212. Dope. And if you're into pizza pets, they're teasing some stuff for different for season 2. Just putting out some cool stuff there. Coinbase secures registration to offer Bitcoin trading in India. Very, very interesting. Big shout out to the AI BTC devs. They are working on putting together an airdrop list for the Faces airdrop. I'll read this out real quick. The response to this post was incredible, so much so that X doesn't even let us view all the replies. If you have a verified blue check, please DM us your STX wallet address to be sure that you get the upcoming Faces airdrop. We're trying our best to manage all of the demand. So be sure to go to AIBTC Dev, give them a follow, and if you have a blue check, go drop your STX address in their DMs. Canada agrees to suspend 25% electricity tariffs on the United States. So that was something from either yesterday or the day before that I saw. So very cool. The droid tranches are allocated. Expect an airdrop sometime this week. Big shout out to the Nakamoto One guys putting Bitcoin on the moon. If you minted their Nakamoto One androids, be looking out for an airdrop of Droid coming your way. Starknet, bold new narrative, scaling Bitcoin plus Ethereum together. Starknet will become the first L2 to settle on both Bitcoin and Ethereum, bringing the two largest blockchain ecosystems on a single layer, unlocking new DeFi opportunities and greater liquidity. Very cool. Very, very cool. And big shout out to the Zest guys. We've got some friends in the house tonight. Got a solid panel of some Giga Brains and Giga Chads with us. So let's bring our friends on. We have Jackman Switch in the house. Our beloved Peace Love Music, Crypto Dude in the house, Landy also in the house, and our beloved Canadian guest, Blockface in the building. What's up, fellas? How are we feeling tonight?
He looks a little less Canadian today. I don't know what it is about him. Trump done tariffed that ass.
China too.
Too good.
Look, I'm 25% of New York's electricity with my nuclear power that they don't allow you to use.
Cool, we're 45% of yours.
So it's a good partnership then, isn't it?
Yeah, it might not want to shut off ours and then we shut off yours. That'd be really, really bad.
We have to fight before we do the Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior kind of teaming up against Yokozuna China thing. So that's how I look.
I just figured maybe Canada would fly some of those American jets that we gave you over to as like a show of force or something.
If they fuck around, they're gonna like make Alberta defect, and they're gonna turn on those oil sand oils. So they have to play their cards.
Oh gosh.
Carefully.
Yeah, isn't that like a really small contingent though? That's like a fairly small contingent in Alberta right now.
Just one of those things when you have the pipe. I think the pipeline goes through the U.S. already. I heard.
Yes. It does.
Yeah. There's details around that. We'll move on.
Yeah, we built some of that pipeline. And funded some of it too.
We're laying pipe across the borders.
Yep, laying pipe across the borders, so it's only natural. It's a fit, as it turns out.
Did you have to like bring maple syrup bottles with you to like supplement your diet while you're down here?
That's how you get citizenship. Actually,
oh no,
we give you when you get citizenship.
Everyone knows the best maple syrup is up in Vermont anyway.
Oh shit! Oh no. Man, we can't let the Canadians have nothing.
Like that comes from Quebec. They're not even a part of Canada. So go ahead.
Plenty of timber up there too, by the way. Also, like
funny? If Trump wanted Quebec would. Well, I don't know. Would Quebec switch? Because they're like a.
Oh, Quebec would not switch.
I don't know.
Quebec, how about we just take all of Canada and leave Quebec?
Quebec has tried to secede Canada like 5 times in the last some odd years.
Is it true that Louisiana is its own country?
Well, no, it's got Napoleonic law, which I mean, it's still
part of France.
Yeah, it's just it's its own. You know, we're the only one that has that kind of law.
So you're
not like everyone else's Commonwealth or what have you.
So you're saying that with all of Napoleon's conquering, he still got something in the end.
Back in Louisiana.
That's a good, Interesting.
Yeah, it's still Napoleonic law is still alive in the state of Louisiana.
So what does that actually mean? I don't even know.
I was about to ask the same thing.
Yeah, it's
different set of edicts that you never consented to.
Louisiana is like Quebec in America.
Growing up in Louisiana, I just kind of assumed that it meant the politicians just got to rob everyone blind and no one could do anything about it. But turns out that's everywhere.
They decentralized that too. Yeah.
Napoleonic law in Rhode Island too.
You mean we're all just gonna get fucked by the government? That's what you're saying is the Napoleonic law?
Yeah.
Can you imagine the network state was worse than the actual state?
Well, you can walk away from one without being threatened with violence.
I don't know. I think violence is still there.
Violence is better for getting your way? Maybe.
I just be like, hey, is that a ledger in your wallet, or are you happy to see me? You know?
You must be talking about Quebec then.
The truth
I figured, interpretive dancing away from you while clutching their ledger is kind of the Quebec way.
You ever see that guy who's like the plane is on fire and he's still trying to get his luggage? I'm like, that guy has a ledger in that fucking carrier.
Yeah. He's gotta get his hardware wallet. Nope.
Yeah.
You leave without this.
Yeah. It's not worth it getting off this plane without this rider wallet, you know?
Unless we're talking about right now, it might be.
Timing is everything, huh?
If you're really wearing your tinfoil hat, you'll be freaking brain wallet in that. You're like, it's in my brain. I remember these words.
I got it.
Speaking of tinfoil, do you think it's an actual DDoS or like with X?
Who knows?
Yes. Yeah. It did appear like from outside analysts and security firms, they were confirming that it was the attack appeared to be coming from Ukraine, trying to utilize VPNs.
Like, how they just match their IP address and say they're from Ukraine?
Well, in theory, but you can very easily figure out where traffic's coming up from through a VPN node. Like it wasn't that well masked.
At least it's not North Korea. Huh? You know, look on the bright side.
I'm stuck on this because we were talking about hardware wallets. It made me think of something. So when back in the day, almost everything was translated in ancient times through oral tradition, right? Like, plays, Iliad, Odyssey, Bible, all of these different things. People are just remembering this stuff. Like, we should even have a hardware wallet market. Like, what's it say about us as modern people that we can't remember 12 to 24 words? Meanwhile, we'll be like,
grade 6 reading level, so they only maybe have 6 words in them.
Right.
Yeah,
those ancient people.
But then that wallet dies with you.
Right.
Unless you have to write it.
Wallet.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's interesting
Like
that
you should try to memorize the phrase, but you probably should also keep some backups.
It should be like a cultural phrase. Oh no, but then people could know it. Like in Guyanese, it'd be like, "Hey, Kyoya Madaskant," you know what I mean? Like that's what, like, you could have like a phrase from the family that only the family knows.
Dude, I need a soundboard. I'm gonna clip that. I need to clip that. Could you say that again, Mike?
Just use that to decrypt your private keys. You could do that. Just have an encryption layer, basically.
I think
your private keys, and then use that to decrypt it.
Ledger, by the way.
I was thinking about using DNA, but then they could just cut your arm off. Sorry, never mind.
I think we should. I like your cultural idea. I think there should be seed phrases made strictly out of Italian meats. Like,
okay. Like you read out the order of charcuterie. Yeah.
Oh, that's too good. So I saw this today. The U.S. Congressman Nick Begich to introduce strategic Bitcoin reserve legislation in House today to buy 1 million BTC. Bullish, guys? Or
he's reintroducing the Cynthia Lummis bill.
Yeah.
So it's the same bill, but he's reintroducing it through the House. It has already passed committee in the Senate, and he's reintroducing that to the House because there's a better pathway when going through the House than to the Senate. So that the Senate can work on other things now while the House kind of goes through the bill and debates it, puts it through their committees, and then this is basically helping to speed up that process so that it can go through their committees and then they can get it on the floor for vote. Then that goes to the Senate where it's already been through committee. Then they can go to vote and then they can get it on the president's desk.
It goes along the lines with what we were talking about last night, Landy, how, it doesn't matter if he pushes this, it's got to get through the House. So, is that kind of is that a quick time frame? Did you expect it to, were you expecting to wake up today and see some news like this?
Yeah. So last week, when the BSR was signed as an executive order, putting the Bitcoin into the Treasury as a strategic reserve asset. At the same time, they allowed for, like I've mentioned, the accumulation of budget neutral ways of additional accumulation for the Bitcoin reserve specifically. And it also created the crypto stockpile, which is everything else, which cannot be added to. Well, the other piece to that, because it's an executive order, it can be overturned by another president coming in, right? So, but what he did that was really smart was tagging in there the budget neutral accumulation, which allows for the treasury to buy Bitcoin and not have to disclose it until it's already bought, right? But a lot of people that were upset about the BSR were failing to understand that he not only delivered on his promise, but he even over delivered on it by adding that budget neutral accumulation piece, because the only accumulation that was ever promised was coming from the Cynthia Lummis Bitcoin Act bill. And she sent that through, that was in partnership with Gillibrand. In terms of its writing, Lummis is the one that spearheaded it and introduced it. And it's the same bill now just being introduced to the House by the House member Nick Begich of Alaska, to the House to get through their committees and get to the floor. And this is very important. Now, I've said this a few times, even earlier today with Peace, I still have some reservations about the Bitcoin Act, because you're literally giving the cadence at which you're going to accumulate over 5 years to get to 1 million Bitcoin, and that is a lot, right? And that means that you're opening this up to be front run. So the smart thing to do would be to hang this out there as a carrot, as a red herring, while the Treasury finds the budget neutral ways to accumulate Bitcoin so that they're not getting front run all the help. And then once they feel that they've accumulated sufficiently, they can disclose those wallets. They can hammer that bill through. That will now codify the Treasury Reserve status of Bitcoin by Congress, so it cannot be overturned by another administration by executive order. So this is very important. There is a bit of gamesmanship being played here around this. If this is just passed straight up, great. Then the Treasury can add whenever they want, because as long as it's budget neutral, which we've discussed, I believe here even, there's many ways in which they can accumulate Bitcoin. And what's interesting about the Bitcoin Act is he specifically has called out that this is not going to be using taxpayer dollars. So they're going to be using existing budgets and reallocating budget to actually implement the accumulation plan for the Bitcoin Act, which is also bullish. So now you have two budget neutral solutions, one that can be done without the Congress, and then one that will be done via Congress. So I think this is a great setup. This is very bullish. It goosed the news, a goosed price a little bit. We were already looking like we were going to set a little bit of a low, or try to set a low today in price. And this just helped it kind of get another little lower term time frame bump up as well. But we still have to just watch it. I do suggest, by the way, the BTC Policy Org account is one to watch. So if you are not, I'm going to put this in our chat here.
Yeah.
This is where you're going to get all your updates for Bitcoin policy. This is the think tank's X page, and it's called BTC Policy Org. They also have a website up. I suggest that you go and bookmark that and see what's coming out of that particular think tank. It's called the Bitcoin Policy Institute. That is the name of the think tank.
Right on. Thank you for that, dude. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I need the alpha. Landy drops the alpha. Very, very nice, Landy. Thank you, sir. I'm going to pull up the Bitcoin Policy Institute and show this.
I do like the plan as it's proposed by Lummis. 1 million Bitcoin over 5 years.
Yep.
It was a steady buying over 5 years.
Yep.
That would be it would be great actually if they pass that.
I hope that they do pass it.
It's also a signal to the Fortune 5000 to get ready.
I agree.
Right.
100%.
One way or another, it's a signal.
Give us some signal.
But if it gets defeated, then it actually could have negative. It could actually be a negative catalyst.
Oh,
It's another signal.
I have another signal to show you. Can I show you?
Real quick, I wanted to just respond to Peace there. It would be a negative signal, but that would also be you would see the Treasury immediately start acting on that budget neutral aspect of accumulation. By the way, like 100%. So if this didn't pass, like it gets hung up in committee, or there's just not enough votes and it fails to pass the House. This is exactly where you would have why Trump has the budget neutral accumulation clause in that executive order, because they don't need Congress to accumulate Bitcoin, and there's no cadence, right? Like there is in the Bitcoin Act, where there's a set cadence to accumulation. So and even within that, they have, like with the regular buying, it's not like you're going to know which day they're going to buy. They're going to obviously have to find an authorized participant, much like what ETFs do, to kind of get in, get out, deal with OTC, so on and so forth, so that they don't have a negative effect on the market or a positive effect on the market for that matter.
Well, no, wouldn't that be awesome though? Like, just think of Trump, like, we're going to print the biggest, most beautiful green dildo ever seen on these charts. 800,000 Bitcoin buy now. Market. Just
market buy. Just go into Binance and market buy. Go into Coinbase. He's got his Coinbase wallet open. He's just hitting the green button in front of the camera. Just market buying. Just smashing the button over and over again. Oops, I overbought. Sorry. I hit the button too many times.
So it's 1 million Bitcoin over the span of 5 years?
Yes, sir.
With a 20-year hold.
With the 20,
so they have to hold it. Right.
I always felt that someone who was an expert in bankruptcy should lead the U.S.
Yeah, well,
I agree.
You should know how to. Right, you should know how to get through those situations.
That's why we. That's why we elected him.
He's been there before.
Yes. And he turned. Not only did he turn his companies around, but he built amazing things for the cities as well. That he was in New York City.
I just realized it. They're building Trump Towers in Jerusalem and Ukraine. Fuck.
Yeah. Just wait till you see the Trump Tower that's going to go up in Gaza. It's going to be the biggest, the greatest.
I don't really believe that.
The greatest Palestinian Trump Tower you've ever seen.
Jesus Christ, dude. That's dark.
It's going to be huge.
That's the darkest thing I've ever heard in my life. And I don't agree with it. I heard someone tell me that idea.
Yeah, well, I could see it. I could see it. It's just Trump everywhere. Trump Tower in Greenland. Trump Tower in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of America now.
In 1984, Emmanuel Goldstein says the purpose of war is to delete the excess production of society so that they don't get comfortable and always have to work.
I mean, he's definitely going to be working for that Greenland deal, right? Definitely going to be working. He's going to the Trump Hotel on the edge of the Panama Canal is going to be amazing.
I'd go there. It's like a local Vegas. They start doing, the MGM Greenland. Who's not going to go?
Drunk sailors.
You know what I mean? And then when it, turns into water and drowns the Northwest.
I'm going to jump into the Gulf of America. You can't stop me.
That's a good impression, dude.
It's perfect.
I didn't know you had that. That's amazing. Actually, can I show you something related to Donald Trump?
Yeah, dude.
Okay, hold on. Here we go. So the other thing that Donald Trump knows, almost as good as bankruptcy is real estate. And so Retcon, the epicenter of U.S. real estate. So the guys are there right now, MGM Grand, fancy people talking about fancy things, blah, 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 blah. So for the AI side, because without which they wouldn't even have me here, this is what we did. We created this synthetic avatar that answers questions to help you get the most and maximize your Retcon real estate conference experience. And so you can click this button over here and talk to Mike. And so just behind the scenes, my computer doesn't freeze.
He also appears Canadian, though. Like, we got to do something about this.
Did I freeze just now?
That's
Oh,
like Canadian, dude.
okay. Did you hear anything I said? My computer froze.
Yeah, no, you were still going.
Okay.
Yeah, you're still going.
So, I think it's a German. Sorry. Anyways, so if my computer would stop, in the background, beautiful soup. Snake did the scraping.
You're not sharing it anymore.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
still
okay.
sharing. It looked like your computer didn't like the.
Oh, didn't like it?
All
right.
Or something. I don't know.
No worries.
Good. You can try to reshare.
Okay, let me try to reshare. Sorry
Yeah.
about that. So,
Was
Now,
this is this the link you shared before, Mike, or is this something else?
so
Like you shared in the private chat.
yeah. So, we've been talking for a few months about this real estate conference, right? RecCon 2025, commercial real estate. And so we have team members like Snake, Complex, Rocky, Joseph, Nick, other members of the team, Arluen, I believe, if she's a new team member, and we created this synthetic avatar named Mike. I don't know how we got that. And Mike is your concierge that can tell you what events to go to, what mixers to go to. And we created it using beautiful soup for the scraping. Snake did that. Notion for the database. 11 Labs for the clone voice. Voice flow for the campaigning. Hey Jen was critical for the person talking. Man, Hey Jen is crazy. And the website was built in Card. So that's it. That's what we did.
What is this voice based off of?
Sorry? Oh, voices. Well, here's what I did. So Hey Gen gives you the ability to generate an avatar, create a video, create videos that look like user-generated content, even though they're not. See? Look, right here. Look at this lady. Come on. You tell me you're not going to buy from this lady?
Oh, I'm
You
a buy. Yeah, I'm a
Oh,
buy.
my God. She doesn't even have a belt on. You know what I mean? Right? You're like, she's a free spirit lady. You know what I mean? So what I had to do is, Hey Gen gives me the audio, but the cool thing about 11 Labs is it allows you to redub a voice. So I can change the original Hey Gen voice to the 11 Labs voice. So that's how I bridge those gaps. You can redub them. But and so I think I posted it today. I remember why I want to show you this. So we've been talking about the build battle, the build battle with all the Bitcoin stuff in front of the VCs and everyone fancy with all of the things. And so this was actually created because we were doing a hackathon for voice flow. And so this is what it looked like. And this is the link. Oh, that's the stack. And yeah, so that's that.
Like, I want to hear him.
Oh, you want to hear him? Can you hear it?
Play the audio. Oh, no, I can't hear it.
You can't hear it. It's okay. I'll put it in the ding dangaloos. But yeah, that's it.
Solid, dude. It's got a little guy there put together with all the AI. You built it all with AI?
It's, you know what it is? I was thinking about it today. It's more about the composition than it is about individual colors. You know what I mean? Like I'm taking this MCP thing over here and this Hey Gen thing over here and kind of remixing it together. So it's more just based on my own skill level and the team, because Snake scraped the website, which was difficult. Rocky did the voice flow. So as much as like I'm talking about as if I did stuff, it's actually the entire like syndicate that is, I'm like, hey, can you scrape this? I don't know how to do it. Snake gives me back the scrape. Hey, Rocky, I have no idea how to use voice flow. They changed the UI. Okay, Pat, it's kind of like a relay race of solutioning. I'll stop.
I like it, dude. When can we scrape like the YouTube channel and make a Peace Love Music AI?
So what if I told you
with no belt?
So what?
Yeah, hell yeah. No fucking belt for me, man.
No belt. This has the American.
And that chick.
tie it around the head. You know what I mean?
I might as well see if I can show you this. So you laugh, right? But hold on, collab, because we're talking about technology. Come on, everybody. It's like the Indian part of the show. Anyways, so I have this little thingy. Hold on, where's the share? I'm gonna share my screen again.
Okay.
So sometimes we talk about Python.
Yeah, Python, the coding language, right?
So what if I told you the way I can create AIs quickly is because I create a little Python script to automatically download all of the transcripts from a playlist and then create the AI with it. There's your Python lesson for the day.
Streamlining the process. You just plug and play. Yeah.
Right. So whatever knowledge, whatever thing I need that I want to talk to, I just make a playlist of YouTube videos. Bam, get the transcripts, feed that into notebooklm.google.com, and I seem like I know something, which I eventually do. But, I can seem a little more on the ball than I am.
You can brush up very quickly.
You can brush up like a motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. Like a dry sock motherfucker, lady?
If I had this shit when I was in school, I would have done 4 degrees at the same time. I'm telling you. It's crazy.
Yeah, but what do you need the degree for if you know you have the actual information and who can test it better than the AI that's training you?
Well, I was going to suggest I pull the data from the University of Toronto documents, but I heard what they do when you connect to the proprietary databases,
Well, it's proprietary?
Yeah, because like all of the journal articles, right? That's what, who was it, Ross? Oh, no. Was it Ross? Who was the guy that died from Reddit?
Somebody
died?
About? Recently?
Oh, one of the co-founders of Reddit. I think died because of
Aaron Swartz.
Aaron Swartz. You know that story piece?
I vaguely remember hearing about it, but I don't know the details off the top.
Do you guys want to tell him? That's an interesting story.
He basically had a bunch of data that he acquired from public servers that didn't have any type of security, and then it was pretty much educational information, and then he put it online for people to access for free, and then basically the government came after his ass, even though the owners of the data didn't even give a fuck.
Oh shit!
And then they tried to put the screws to him and basically locked him in a cage, threatened him with shit tons of jail, to the point where he got so terrorized that he killed himself, quote unquote, and that's the story they're sticking with. But as well as I know that when you don't play ball, they tend to use little.
It's like they're the mom.
Yeah, a little bit like that.
Hey, we're working over here.
So that just goes to show you how valuable information is, though.
Jeez,
at the time,
control of information and the isolation of information.
Just imagine,
because that's really the threat there to the establishment is the student profit model.
Well, it's also the speed of innovation, because imagine you throw fucking manus.im or whatever it is at the entire diary of genetic data hid behind journal logins. What, like the novel material synthesis that would happen from that is very destabilizing. You know what I mean?
There's a reason why they burned the Library of Alexandria.
It's very empowering. That's why they're scared of it.
Depends which side of control you're on, but I'm gonna point.
I'm on the side of consent.
I'm on the side of whoever's in charge, because I'm an immigrant. I don't have a choice in that. You guys have the luxury of choice. I just protest.
Yeah, I can't protest. I like a little bit of freedom that I'm afforded.
You guys protest on my behalf.
They're not very kind to any protesters, actually, unless they're the paid ones that are there for
shut down your bank account in Canada if you drive on the highway at the wrong time.
Speaking of paid protesters, I saw a video the other day of one of those protesters that was in front of Tesla, and this dude asked him, "Is like, hey, are you paid to be here?" And he straight up said, "Yeah, I've been paid to be here." Who's paying these people to protest?
The taxpayers. That's how it's been going.
Yeah,
that's all USAID stuff's about.
That's kind of what the whole controversy's been about recently.
Well, you saw that USAID has had their shredding event today They were there shredding all the documentation, and somebody leaked their emails. But yeah, they're all about getting rid of the evidence for all the monies that have already been paid out, and of course,
Almost
you're
like we
seeing
need a
that.
transparent ledger for this.
You know what's messed up, and at the risk of getting DeOrganized canceled, you know, if George Floyd would have stole $20 million, he'd still be with us.
Oh, you're right.
He would have been elected to office.
Right. If he wasn't a petty criminal, he'd still be here.
100%.
True. Wag me in the chat.
Yo, what up, Wag Me? Hope you're having a very blessed night, brother. Thanks for tuning in, man.
Social engineering line items, exactly.
Oh man.
Actually, I have that's another GitHub. Let me share that.
Oh, you got it.
You have a social engineering GitHub?
Dude, he's got like books of.
We wrote a book on social engineering 18 months ago before we met Stacks. I'll find
Fucking
it.
wild, dude.
Where is it?
You know what's crazy? I think I saw this from a tweet that Wagme showed me. It was a local news channel. I don't know what state, and like the guy, like this older guy, you know, the guy who like your parents and grandparents have trusted on TV for decades, is reading a news report. He's like, there'll only ever be 21 million Bitcoin, so there's not even enough for every millionaire. And it's like, when did you first know that in this space? Like, when did you first hear that or know that?
First time I heard about Bitcoin, and I did a little bit of quick math, and I was like, if this actually becomes a thing, probably be good to get in early.
That's why it's like you tell people about like Stacks or like Hermetica or Velar or Bitflow, any of this stuff, and like, okay, how many years is it going to take to sink in? You know, if you go from, takes you 9 years in my case to see someone on a local news say, yeah, that, you know, they're only 21 million Bitcoin. Like, not everyone that wants a whole one's going to be able to get one, no matter how rich they are.
The government's about to buy 1 million.
Yep.
More than that.
You gotta
Okay, we'll be just dealing with talking about sats quicker than we thought at this pace.
Yep.
Yes.
Look, if you're a whole coiner and above, that is going to be the holy grail at some point, right?
Dude, if you own a tenth of a Bitcoin, that's going to be a holy grail.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's one of the main reasons we went to the Retcon conference, because it was like, look, we're going to do something with verticals in Vegas, and if one of the members was going to this Retcon thing, then maybe make a baby with AI and Bitcoin and Stacks. That's kind of the idea, because people don't want to spend it, but they will use it as collateral. The stable coin yield, like Hermetica, that's right, Hermetica, making money on your money, on your money, on your money, on your money.
Yes.
Right? That's like, if you can use Bitcoin through Stacks or otherwise as collateral, then that is going to rotate into real estate if there are tax preferential treatments for such and such activities.
Yeah. So, AKA, we are still stupidly early. That's the whole point.
Right.
You know,
the goal is to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible, and then just borrow against it and refinance it over time.
Right now, we are early to Stacks.
Yeah. Oh, 100.
Early to Bitcoin too, actually.
Not early to Bitcoin. Let's leave that alone. Early to Stacks.
Oh, we're not late to Bitcoin.
If you have a time horizon of 15 years, you're early to Bitcoin. You know what I mean? But they can play this institutional game for a while. The retail guillotine over and over and over again. They can play this for a while, and it's profitable to delete the greatest wealth transfer of all time by doing that. You accumulate more faster, and if I can think that, they're thinking that.
There's only 21 million Bitcoin, and everyone's about to want.
But again, if I can coordinate through small moving averages, the buying and selling, coordinated selling, we can saw this for a long time. No, sorry.
Yeah, it rotates every 4 years, actually.
And it's that, I guess it's the people who sell at the wrong time or try to time the market who will lose the most, would you say?
It's the
I would
people
disagree.
that don't understand when they're buying in that have no idea about the timing.
The people who don't follow the Jack Bogle thesis of just holding long term, right? Following the S&P.
Right. People that are trying to time the market but have no idea what they're doing are
Yeah.
going to lose the most.
Crossing rivers that are on average 6 feet deep.
Depends on how patient they are, actually.
But there are outliers, you know, that's where autism is for. Right?
Autism laser beams and the autism Wi-Fi.
Right?
Go.
Yeah,
I thought it was for coming up with new ideas.
As a trader, the markets aren't that difficult when you have a lot of experience, when you know what you're doing in the market and what your objective is, more importantly. Because if you don't understand your objective, the reason why you hear about traders getting washed out of the market due to unforeseen circumstances, because guess what? Those bigger players on Wall Street got over leveraged. It wasn't because they didn't know what was going on. It's because they got over leveraged and they pushed too hard, right? And this is often what you hear with hedge funds, right? We're now seeing that traditional markets have some of the highest short interest that we've seen in a very long time. What do you think is going to happen if they get forced out?
You know, it just makes me think with the average reading level of grade 6, combining lottery tickets with, you know what I mean, the markets is kind of like...
Yeah, but
our grade 6 financial really advice.
The best grade 6.
Sorry?
Said our grade 6 is really the best grade 6.
I
think there's
argue not anymore. Maybe the grade 6 you and I took.
Look,
that's true.
He doesn't understand.
You know, back in 1910, we learned
we learned about the economy in elementary school.
That piece looked like one of the founding fathers. Like you could have been one of the people arguing at like the Declaration of Independence meeting.
For sure.
If you put on a wig,
I think he just called you old.
No.
Yeah, he did.
Those guys were in their 30s.
Called me a modern U.S. terrorist is what he did.
Yeah, basically.
It also aligned with his constitutional views, right?
Typical Canadian.
I chide peace. Like
I do support freedom and liberty. So
terrorist from a Canadian's point of view.
One might say that freedom and liberty gave us our current place in the world over a long enough time period, just like investing. Maybe freedom is a good investment. Yeah.
Totally.
Maybe.
Interesting.
I just want to go on record as saying I support truckers and maple syrup from Vermont.
There you go. What about cheese curd?
Maple syrup from Vermont.
Cheese curd.
Yeah. Fries on the fries. Oh my god, that's awesome. Is that that's probably the best import we've ever had from Canada.
Oh, you guys have that now? That's awesome.
Well, up in New Hampshire, right? So I go up to New Hampshire and Vermont, like up north, and so there's a lot of French Canadians up that way. So they have, like, you know, the great cheese. It's cheese gravy. Curd cheese and gravy on fries, and
that's why I get along with Paul, because I know like the people from, I think like Acadia, you know, like the northeast, I guess, fucking Canada. I can't even remember it. It's like the US now, right? So people from Newfoundland, I think, like took a boat and ended up in like New Orleans or some shit. That's why really? I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm making it up. Who knows? It doesn't matter really. It's imaginative.
I'm not sure. I thought they came down the Mississippi somehow or something.
I wonder.
I don't know if it was from Canada.
Because they had the Vikings, right? Wasn't it like the people who called Greenland to get money from their investors? Right? That was the biggest Theranos of all time. Them calling it Greenland, right? It's the Ericsons, right? They came over and then I think they went around the coast.
Yeah,
the first
I don't know. They went to all the way down to Louisiana. Wish Jack was here on that.
I wonder. I know he would know.
Yeah, he's the history buff on Louisiana.
I like the idea that because the audience is a grade 6 reading level, you can just make up whatever history you want.
Well, if they got if they got a higher education, they'll just be conforming to whatever's been told to them. So it's the same, and that's written by the victors. So you really never know the truth as much as you can kind of verify yourself.
It really is bad. The kids are not being taught to question anything.
That's the ultimate form of natural selection, huh? Is it?
Right.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Jeez. What a way to end the show.
Dude, yeah.
Somebody say something nice.
That's the end of the show. It's only been, there's still 10 minutes left.
Yeah, we got time. We got time for some other stuff.
Yeah, we're still, we can stay.
We can turn it around. We can save the world still.
Dude.
Am I the only Gen X left in the space now?
Dude. No, we can turn in our homework at the last minute. That's how we do.
Yeah. We're going to save the world, and it's going to be done exactly like that at the last minute, and none of us are going to be worried about it. You guys are all freaking the fuck out.
I have a reading moment then. Do you mind if I play a little book game with you in the honor of education and actually trying to do something? Yeah. Are you ready for my book game?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what it is.
All right, you ready?
What I Learned on X by Michael Jack Deo. Yes, this is a very based take from Blockface. Attract funding.
Oh, GPSC, you know about this? What is this?
Oh, this is Mike's book before he met Stacks. Before he even met Stacks, he made this, and it's about all the different characters that you will find on X. The Bitcoiners, there's a table of contents there once you you gotta scroll and keep scrolling. It's got like 5 or 6 blank pages, and this is meant to prove a point. What I learned on X, right? The only reason you look into my eyes is to see your own reflection. Richard Kernecki. And then, you scroll about another 5 or 6 pages down, and then you'll probably end up at the table of contents. Yes, you will.
Is it like that many pages in between everything?
No, I think he made that point. I think his friend told him.
Nobody's got the attention span to fucking scroll.
Yeah, I'm already ready to it's second dinner. I gotta go.
All right, so tell me if any of these titles catch your attention.
What is X? Transforming conflict on X. The apple of discord. Why fights are creative. I didn't have a choice. All 3 of those are good picks from the jump. Don't take the words too seriously. Also, pretty good. And attacking the funny bone. I mean, it's the gift that keeps on giving. Let's click on one of these things.
All right, which one, GPSC?
Let's go with attacking the funny bone.
Attacking the funny bone. Okay, so let me see. I should have fucking downloaded it. That would have been much better. I'm a fucking idiot. All right, hold on. Come on. I'm like, hey guys, look what I'm doing with AI, and I don't know how to download a PDF.
Come on, I'm working it.
I'm ruining the whole show.
Come on, everybody. By the way, Hurls the Australian told me to do that blank page thing. He thought it would be funny.
Well, it would be funny only if it stops right there. If it keeps going, it's kind of like, man, I wish I didn't buy this book if I bought it.
All right. Does someone want to read this? That's the game.
All right. Attacking the funny bone, because people can't disagree with you when they're laughing. Do you know why the best politicians are stand-up comedians? Because people can't disagree with you when they're laughing. People used to think that comedy was useful.
I've heard you talk about this, Mike.
Yeah, it's one of his. This is the book. This is the thing that he talks about. Like, remember, I did a book before I met Stacks. This is the book. So there are 2 people in the kingdom who can interrupt the king, the queen, and the Joker. Why is that? I'll let you sit with that one. There are 3 ways to relay a message: a joke, a logical statement, and a work of art. We're used to making logical statements. We're even used to making art. But making comedy, that's an elusive one. Think of all your favorite speakers. How many of them are able to use comedy in their communications? In George Carlin's last interview before he passed, the interviewer asked him if he'd ever read any books on comedy. he mentioned The Act of Creation by Kostler. I quickly looked it up, 700 pages. I only needed the first 100 to figure out how to write a joke, and a wife who was an expert in calculus. When I figured out how to write a joke, I got bored of writing jokes. I'd spent 6 years under the mentorship of Quinn C. Martin, and he taught me everything I needed to know. But after I started seeing the pattern, instantly the thrill was gone. There was a rush in the process of bombing and bombing and bombing, then finally get a joke that made people applaud. Once I figured that out, the thrill was gone. Naturally, I stopped writing jokes and started going up on stage relying on only improvisation and crowd work to get the job done. And that was the thrill of a lifetime. There's nothing like talking to an audience member and making the entire audience laugh. You gotta try it sometime. Yeah. This is his book. This is like straight from the thought. You could tell Mike wrote this book through and through. Is there anything that stands out to you that you wanted to like go over in this book, Mike? Like, what is your favorite part of your book? You're muted.
You're muted, brother.
It was the forward by Snake, Bob Cactower, Complex, Liminal Snake. I asked him to write the forward because he was one of my mentors in terms of navigating this entire space 5 years ago with Mattios. And I asked him to write the forward. And the forward, let me just show you this, just to end this off. You're going to like this. So I don't want to say it out loud.
Epstein files.
I don't want to say it out loud because it doesn't do it justice. I'd rather you just discover it with me. So this is the forward by Snake.
What is X? Scroll. What is X? A forward by Pop Cacture. X is a sea of narcissists, in which, everyone on X and actually every single poster on every site is site ever is at the throes of divine mania. Yes, both platonic and fruity. Can you help me out?
Freudian.
Freudian. Yes, every time. Even those people who look and post all normal, they're displaying a tiny fraction of themselves, at least enough to fit in the text box. It's remarkable. It's a remarkable feat that what stupid little things we can fit in that stupid little box. But trying to stuff yourself in a text box is absolutely not logical thing to do. Beyond the Black Mirror lies pure mania. The most powerful mania for me is laughter. For my money, it's the lowest risk way to unite logos with mania. I think a lot of people recognize this, and when I find those to do, it's a pretty instant partnership. The law of attraction does a lot more. The law of attraction does a lot more work in cyberspace than many realize. You can experiment with the law of attraction pretty extensively using alt accounts and wrestlers mindset. It's not fake. The blood is real. We do a little kayfabe. You aren't evil, though you will be known as evil. You're not. You're a heel. It's all a show. WrestleMania. So WrestleMania and X have a lot in common, huh? You are muted again, sir.
What's the difference? Two people fighting on spaces. The Hulk comes up. Oh, this guy's joining. You know, Jake the Snake is running down the aisle.
One is actually scripted entertainment, technically.
One is
the other
improvised.
one is a little bit more. It's more real potentially. A lot of it's told opinions and just.
Twitter Spaces is Dungeons and Dragons for people who can't act and visualize.
Oh shit.
Twitter Spaces?
Yes, Twitter Spaces is Dungeons and Dragons for people without an imagination.
Because otherwise they'd be playing Dungeons and Dragons.
It's a lot more fun. But, you know, can you imagine combining Dungeons and Dragons with
Dungeons and Dragons, actually.
We need to figure out how to use X Boost to do Dungeons and Dragons on X.
Oh, Boost X? Yeah.
Okay, I have an idea. So you start off with the first post where the dungeon master is obviously someone. I imagine that would be obviously Peace Love Music. Who better than Peace Love Music that had a dungeon, right? It's so perfect. So you have a dungeon master who kicks off the thing, sets a scenario, and then the replies are from the audience. The people who vote with their money to be the best next step in the narrative is what gets followed next. Where people start voting with their money, and you could probably create like a whole script that was co-written on X.
So it's interesting. Oh, kids yelling in the background. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good.
So it's interesting you brought that up, because that's something we were working on towards actually the art on stacks thing we were
Australian
about
who
earlier.
To do the blank spaces also wanted this idea. That's why I said that, because he was trying. He saw Twitter as a way for us to co-author things, not author things, like co as in decentralized author things.
Yeah.
And he said if there was a way for us to incentivize with AI to do a tweet thread, you have a co-working Hollywood on your hands from a script.
Field day with this. It would be so much fun.
Imagine if people wanted to rewrite season 5 of Game of fucking Thrones, and you had people incentivized to pay attention, and they would be reading it.
Can we rewrite season 8 because it was trash.
I've been especially autism laser beam, so I appreciate it today.
No, you've been doing.
So on you mentioned basically voting with your wallet, right?
Yeah.
And so we were in the art stack space earlier, or art on stack space earlier, talking about, obviously different art and stuff. And I mentioned, and I guess I'll just divulge a little more information right now, but basically we're looking at a way to, obviously when you create content on X, and then the repliers can reply to it, and then people can vote on that, with likes. It's a little bit gameable, right? Because likes don't require skin in the game.
Dude, you realize we just created Dollywood? You've heard of Bollywood. You've heard of Hollywood. You've heard of Bollywood. Dollywood, decentralized Hollywood, that's basically what you have in your hands. Because what's preventing someone with all of the technology I showed today for that synthetic being from putting together a whole film that was co-funded by people who want to see the alternative version of season 5? That would be crazy, because people are begging for that. You don't think they would put their money in terms of a script that might actually be made? Game over. And they'll make it with AI.
Yeah, a collaboration based on, I guess, voting and your monetary input.
The only reason I say this is because Rocky is very close with PJ and Longshot from Pixel Palette Nation. And PJ put on the AI Art and Film Festival in Arizona. And they're doing it again, and it actually blew up. People are so interested, they're doing it in multiple cities. So remind me to connect you with Rocky for that Dollywood. That's actually closer than most, because they had their first one and it was a success in Arizona. That's
epic. Rocky's out there in Vegas right now, isn't he?
He is in Vegas. Yeah. You're like, oh, that must be your quant. That's probably what they think. No, I'm just joking. No, he's great because he started off as a technical person, but he started reading one book a month, and now he's more on we call it the Yap executive officer, because he was a coder before, and now he has to talk more often. He feels like he's just yapping, but he's good at yapping. So I think it's first time in that this capacity. So I'm really proud of him. He's really it's when you have people really running really fast, it keeps you running, kind of thing.
So we're gonna do just kind of iterate on what we were talking about. We're gonna be adding basically the total boost count eventually to next to the boost icon, so people can have an idea of kind of how many boosts that post has received, and then they can use that to gauge, I guess you'd say, the merit of the reply.
You have
just like
decentralized Hollywood where the audience is voting on the next line in the script. You know what I mean? Maybe they vote on who the creative director should be. You know what I mean? They put, hey, GPSC, creative director. Enough people vote with their money. I guess they're interested in the NFT collection.
Exactly.
Crazy.
It's fucking cool. I like the concept. Yeah. I think
like
there'd be a lot
like
of fun.
a weekly art giveaway could be done, or not art giveaway, but a weekly art I guess you'd say bonus.
Look.
So like have a bunch of artists kind of competing in a weekly competition, then they
We're just-
obviously all get rewarded based on the boosts they receive, but then the one with the most boosts gets an extra bonus that's a
Look.
percentage of all the boosts received.
And then your community
Yeah.
is helping you like narrate your story. They get to vote on like, you ever read those books where like it says flip to page
Yes.
9 if you choose this, and then
What about
Yep.
yeah,
What
that's-
about this though? What if you could use Twitter as the platform that you took your Series A from, because people responded? It's a decentralized market and they vote with their money. And if they use one STX, maybe that represents when you sell out of the Series A, whatever shares. Why couldn't you do that?
Oh, you could do that. Yeah, you could absolutely do that. That could be also in the form of like NFTs in that mix. So that way the NFTs could be representations of your ownership, so to speak.
So what I've realized is people are fucking underestimating fucking BoostX, like massively, in terms of what it means, because one STX can mean whatever the fuck you want it to mean as long as it's recorded on the blockchain. It has the time, that triple ledger aspect of debit, credit, and time. You can use that time of one STX to make it democratic, and let everyone, according to their timing, get a lot.
Oh yeah, when I say we've only scratched the surface,
No,
I
not even.
I literally we're like seeing the tip of the surface.
The nail
Like,
has not even hit the surface, I would argue.
yeah, we're like mid swing still.
Yes. Yeah. Did you submit to Build Battle, by the way?
On that note, I was originally going to participate in that, and then I decided not to for personal reasons, because the terms of the rules didn't seemed kind of questionable, because there was like essentially royalty-free license to being awarded to the sponsors.
Whoa. So maybe we talk off. No, we can talk online. This is a DeOrganized Fox. So what did you notice?
So basically, I took the terms and the rules that they had on the Dora Hacks website. They had the page on that. I took their rules and I passed it through an AI. I learned from you.
You're a fucking disruptor. That's what you are.
yeah.
Disruptor.
I saw that.
Disruptor.
Like
Yeah, exactly.
You can let your GitHub be.
Well, basically, they wanted a copy, like whether or not you won or not. They're basically saying all the sponsors of the Build Battle get a royalty-free license to alter and copy and redistribute and remix your source code that you submit, basically. And to me, that seemed like a kind of an open-ended giveaway.
Yeah.
And I didn't, I'm
Well,
not
you
trying to
talked
sound like
about,
I'm like
keeping
hating
your
on the project,
GitHub
but-
private so people don't spin off like a negative version of BoostX, for security reasons, right? If somebody decided to
Look, guys, these are venture capitalists. They wouldn't do this to us.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure
Yeah,
there's an explanation for this.
GPU,
Yes.
that's one
Come on.
factor for sure, and then the other factor
Come on,
is most
guys.
definitely
Look.
what you're saying there, which is
Guys.
that they would just say, "Hey, thanks for the code and
Guys,
good luck." So
guys, these are smart people, but they're not like, they wouldn't do anything.
they're not those people, right?
Those people? Are you
yeah,
trying
when they
to
write
say-
it into the rules and rules of
trying to tell me-
the process, then I'm pretty sure that there's not necessarily the intent to do that, but they're ensuring that they have the opportunity to maximize. Then I understand that if you're putting you're fronting money on the sponsorship, I get that, but it seemed just like too open ended for my comfort.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's personal reasons there. That's perfectly fine, dude. You're building. You've got your style, right? You know.
And if I was more in the development side of things rather than we're already live and we're working and like. Seems like a lot to give for not necessarily a whole lot in return.
We need to create a solution that allows us to fucking counter offer their terms and be like, you know what? See this terms of agreement? Here's my counter offer. I want to see the algorithm you use for your investments.
Well, maybe that's. I mean, this is the first biddle battle.
Let's do an exchange of IP. I'll give you trust lines if you give me fucking. You know what I mean? Let's negotiate these terms.
Inspires them to change some of the biddle battle is ran. So
I'm just saying, like from a privacy perspective, imagine being able to click on Google and being able to say, you know what? You see that license there? I want you to propose my license. I have a template for how I want to have my people access my personal identity data wallet, for example. You know what I mean? You want to open that drawer? I want to counter offer my preferred terms of service. Can you imagine? That'd be nuts.
Oh, that's essentially what you're talking about is token gated content access, which is most definitely a good idea. But if I'm not trying to crap on the build battle by any means, and that's why I didn't say any of this in a tweet or anything. I just wanted to make sure that I voiced it out there so that way people were, if they were wondering what happened. No, yeah, I get you, and it is.
I figure, to be honest with you, and this goes back to the book, because I came from stand-up comedy, a lot of what I do is still in that kind of being on stage mode. So everything I just said is more to try to articulate the worst, most harsh view of that while wanting to give them the benefit of the doubt. Does that make sense? Because I know we have an audience, and the audience they need to know that we're gonna voice things and let things out, even though it might not be hunky-dory. If we show up to have these conversations and actually don't do that, that's even worse. So I appreciate you bringing it up.
I agree.
I appreciate you bringing it up.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to shit on that, but I most definitely wanted people to be aware of why, if they see what the hell is in BoostX and this, I thought BoostX, because when I tweeted that out, it most definitely got some likes, and then if they're like, what the hell happened here? I want people to know why.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you spoke your truth, you know what I mean? You kept it real. So that's all we can do is keep it authentic and
You want to see the inside. I'll see you later.
Oh yeah, we're on the top of the hour, fellas. I really appreciate you guys coming through to shoot the breeze on the night show. I'm gonna go around one more time and let everybody get their last piece out. Crypto dude, I'll shoot to you first, man.
Just waiting on this latest update to get live on the Chrome store so we can have 12 more tokens. Real-time notifications, getting the notifications are pretty cool. So I'm excited about people seeing that. But I'll send you a little screenshot of something we're still hammering on. I sent it to you on X really quick. It's just a screenshot, but it's got a little hand-drawn arrow to kind of point out what I'm trying to show there. But obviously, work in progress. Might not look exactly the same as this, but you can kind of get an idea of featured
Fly as a bird, bro. Fly as a bird. Clean. You guys, if you are not following Crypto Dude on X, you are missing out. Be sure to follow BoostX at BoostX_app. And get in the know. Get that browser extension downloaded and start earning on X for your post with BoostX. Social.
Start getting going viral, and get some permissionless monetization of your content without having to ask Uncle Elon to get some of that ad rev.
Solid, bro. Thanks for you got.
Hold on, I don't want to get suspended. Let me. How do you retract a point?
Sparks wanting to know if we can send NFTs with BoostX. Not yet, but that's coming in the updates. We're gonna add probably a couple things per update. We're going to try and do them on a bi-weekly interval. Obviously, that's a little bit subject to, whether or not there's annoying bugs that had to be sorted out. But
yeah, and then the Chrome, they have to go through and audit the code and look at it real quick, make sure there's it's good for the Chrome store too. So that takes a little bit of time too.
Yeah, exactly.
Right on, dude. Yeah, hyper bullish on what you're doing, bro. Thank you for the sneak peek. I'm excited as hell. So, Mike, I'm gonna shoot it over to you, dude. Any like final closing thoughts? What we got going on, dude? But I know the syndicate is in Vegas for the real estate conference. What's going on, dude?
What's insane is that I met all these people on Twitter Spaces. It kind of relates back to all of the ideas I have for BoostX, because I've spent the last 4 years, ever since COVID, right? We had to be together alone. And so whether it's Rocky or Vance or Oma, right? I learned how to code from them. And so a lot of the stuff I'm doing now is because I found my mentors and like even you guys on Spaces. So I think with BoostX being able to do what it does, like there's a lot of opportunity in the coordinative power of what's happening on Spaces. I'll say that right now, because people can start voting in real time in the friggin' comments of the space. It doesn't matter what you're saying with your words. Hey, put at least one STX and let's keep the conversation moving, right? Or if everyone in this room doesn't give 5 STX, I guess none of us really cares about this topic. Let's move on. There's a lot of different real-time uses of this stuff.
Yeah, asking people to put skin in the game if they believe
this is kind of like decentralized organizational behavior with voting with tokens.
Yeah, so want to hear something kind of crazy? So with Derupt, I had built-in very similar functionality as what BoostX does, right? And but there was also extensibility on Derupt, which allowed users to create their own smart contracts to have basically their own extensions that could be basically in like functionally executed in parallel when they're doing normal operations on Derupt. That same type of extensibility could be brought into BoostX, so we could actually open up like not just a marketplace for NFTs and fungible tokens, but a marketplace for extensions that allow people to bridge their own smart contracts directly into BoostX. So literally the fucking like opportunities are huge. Like I can't I'm very like calm and chill, but like the inside of me is like just like
No, because Elon and Jack Dorsey and friends figured out the social part. Now it's just like, here you go. Duh.
Let's do it.
It's all right there, because I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen you do it. Right? But I think what's happening in Spaces with the ability to vote in real time, even if you're voting one Leo or one Rue, it just shows that you care about what's happening. And it might get around a lot of the bots even from this.
That's a major factor. If bots are going to try and manipulate the metrics, then they're going to have to put more skin in the game, which is, counterintuitive to their. If they're trying to spam, they're trying to do it because they're trying to either lead to attention or add revenue. And
hot wallet voters, that would be crazy.
I don't like at that point. Like whether or not they're a bot or not is secondary, because they should be essentially still supporting the overall objective of what's being voted on, right? So, like it could just be rather than just saying, okay, putting up one STX or one Rue token, to prove I voted, and that goes to like, wherever. It could actually go towards a specific objective of what's being voted on, obviously, right? And then those bots, as they're trying to game the system for whatever little competition, they have to put skin in the game. So like it turns the model to where bots being a problem is less of a problem and more of like an opportunity.
And even if we incrementally address that issue, that's still recovering a lot of funds. And especially with like decentralized kind of voting, because on the internet, nobody knows you're a dog kind of problem with decentralized voting, right? We've seen that. Sorry, we went way overtime today. Sorry, GPSC.
Good stuff, though.
There's a lot of I get caught up with this kind of decentralized organized behavior or deorganized media as a kind of human capital coordination
I
thing.
dig it, dude.
Very powerful.
Yeah, thank you, fellas. We can always go over the hour. I just try to keep it high and tight, and then save it for the next episode since we are on nightly. So I do appreciate you fellas coming through and sharing a little bit of alpha. Getting into the nitty gritty details, and getting to what makes us tick. So appreciate you guys. Y'all have a blessed night.
Later, man. You too. Later, guys.
And this has been another awesome episode of DeOrganized Nightly, where we bring your favorite GigaBrain astronaut scholars together and have a dope conversation, kick out high frequency vibes, and make some stuff shake. I am GP with DeOrganized Media. I will catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.